how do you want to do this? I say, it's real simple.
This is American justice.
That's right.
This is American democracy. And those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail. But if you can't prove that a democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me. Democracy is hypocrisy. If democracy means freedom, why aren't our people free? If democracy means justice, why don't we have justice? If democracy means equality, why don't we have equality?
Look, we came in together, we leave together. Came in together, we leave together.
Happens next.
If you can't do for yourself what the white man is doing for himself, don't say you're equal with the white man. If you can't set up a factory like he sets up a factory, don't talk that old equality talk.
Amen. Happens next.
How do you want to do this? I say, it's real simple.
We're going to raise enough hell until things get better. And we're going to show them by God they can't spend our money if they won't treat us with respect. That's our job, and I invite you to join us in getting that job done.
Time for the Black Report with my dad.
What's good, family? All right, we here. Let's really get on into it. You hear the music, try to keep the vibe, pumping, keep it right, keep everything going. So, get your libations, get you some coffee, some tea, push you up one, whatever, how you want to do it. Let me greet everybody properly. Meet y'all where y'all at. Hotep, assalamu alaikum, shalom, peace, what's good, what's happening. So, in saying that, family, if y'all know me, I won't take up too much of your time, but just enough, to make you critically think. So, the intentions of Black Report is to present information the mainstream media won't touch, and I like to present it from a perspective that I would say is forged in the furnaces of the struggle. You know what I mean? So, just saying, family. Sit back, get ready for some mental gymnastics by a fact finder that frequently, I should let y'all know, frequently waterboards sheep with the truth. So, expect that out of nowhere. So anyway, family, let's get into it. My intentions for this episode is to highlight some of the things or some of the instances that occurred in this past week that was overlooked by mainstream media, and which is not surprising because we kind of know what they do. But it was kind of ironic, I would say. And the reason is the main thing that was kind of coming through, mostly everybody's Facebook and Twitter streams and stuff, and on the news and ESPN in the morning and the noon and the evening is about Kaepernick. So, family, I just wanted to touch on some things that, is overlooked, just like the point that, well, let me just say this. The consistent and unpunished criminal behavior by the organization that we call the police is what caused the protest by Kaepernick. So in saying that, family, I'm just, just going to highlight a couple of instances where this criminal behavior is going unpunished. And basically, I guess according to the mainstream media, not newsworthy. So, but so into it, family, I want to go right. Let's take it out to Cali. There is a assistant chief of police from, I believe it is Esterwood, Los Angeles. I think that's a suburb outside of LA. So, Family, let me let y'all take a quick look at the meme he shared on his Facebook. And so, I'll give you a little time to read that. Y'all see that? So, I think we kind of go off into the psychology of what's going on right there. Even on his part, as well as the person who created that meme. But, I won't go into that part. I just want to, focus a little bit on the police officer, the assistant chief of police. I want to reiterate. So now this individual, like I said, he works out there in California, and so he shared this on his Facebook page, and then he tried to take it down, but you know, people instantly, screenshotted it and then kind of sent it to his boss, and then sent it to city council. So initially, he tried to defend it, and he stated on his little, I think, Twitter post, that it's not against the law if you share stuff on Facebook. It's social media, the internet. So that was that was like on Monday or whatever, and then I think it say like around 5 o'clock when he posted that, but then later on, he ended up saying, as I quote, you can kind of check the article, but he said, "Well, I posted something on Facebook that made a lot of people mad. Well, I'm sorry for what happens. Y'all have a blessed day. Have a blessed day." Family, y'all ever notice that the people who are like polar opposite of godly tend to, say stuff like "have a blessed day" or "I'm blessed" or like anyway. So, he ended up stating like, "I shared somebody else's post and everybody mad at me again. So Facebook police mad at me." So, I don't know, I won't really try to break down the mind of somebody who ignorant. But as y'all can see, like, this was patrolling y'all neighborhoods out there. And then, we won't even go off into the content of the meme, because I mean, that's a whole nother show we could do on that, family. So, I just kind of wanted to let y'all see that, because I don't really know if that's going to get announced in the mainstream media. But then it's another case, family, that, I think y'all might find interesting. And this one is in Missouri. And family, this situation that arose where a young black male, he had been criminally charged with possession of, I think, meth or something like that, some type of drug, illegal substance. And so he was stating that, the officers planted it on him. So now this young man, he decided to confront the officer. After he had kind of made his complaint, I think with Internal Affairs and a couple other people in the department. So now remember, family, this is in Columbus, Missouri. So I'm not gonna even talk you too much, because I'd rather let y'all kind of take a look at, how their little conversation went. And the main point of it, y'all can probably find the full video, but I just want to give y'all the meat of it. So let's check this out real quick, family.
One thing I'm not going to do is tolerate you. Why are you asking? Why are you violent? Because I'm tired of you flagging us down, accusing us of being crooked. I didn't flag you down. You are crooked. You planted drugs on me. I didn't plant shit on you. You did, and I got to take the proof it. Your ass prove it. Your ass get out of my face. You're going down. Bring it. The law. Okay. You're going down. That's all it is to it. Ain't no two-way about it. I got the tape. You're going down. That's all it is to it, Pat. The next time you get violent with a citizen, you're going to be in trouble. He's taping it. How have I been violent? Explain to me how I've been violent. Why do you put your finger in my face? Because I am tired of you accusing my character and my integrity. I never raised my voice to you. Why'd you point your finger in my face? Because I have to talk over you because you won't stop talking. No, you didn't. Okay, I'm tired. Incite violence? I am tired of you. You shouldn't have planted the dope. I didn't. I got proof you did. Okay, I doubt you do. So when you get on that tape, you shouldn't have planted the dope. I didn't. I got proof you did. Okay, I doubt you do.
Okay, so y'all heard it like I heard it. You shouldn't have planted the dope. I didn't. I got proof you did. Okay, I know you do. I mean, family, most of us, we know that what we just witnessed was the way to expose a liar. And the way, if some of y'all don't know, the way that you do that and what you witnessed was you ambush the liar with a bunch of facts and a whole bunch of sincerity. If the liar decides to engage in that conversation, it's guaranteed that they're going to trip up. And that's what y'all just witnessed the officer doing. So, it was kind of funny, but also at the same time, said that the officer uh, would plant some dope on the young man. But just the background or the follow up to that is that all of the charges against Lawrence Lawhorn in relationship to this incident were dismissed by the Boone County Assistant Prosecutor. So, and then the officer Chris Papineau, who was engaging in this dialogue, he was removed from his position as a street crimes detective, and then he was sent to the patrol division. So, family, for those in Missouri, expect to see him, pulling people over and engaging in, some more ignorance. And also, this isn't his first little time in the spotlight. I think it was last year. I'll make sure I post a link. But last year, he pulled out a gun on a 17-year-older and young black man and act like he wanted to fight him at first, kind of, and then hurl insults at the young guy. So, y'all can check that out. But again, that goes into this whole little mentality that is constantly being displayed nationwide by these police officers. And you would, not think, I mean, for some of us that know better, we realize, like, to keep talking about what team Kaepernick isn't getting picked up or picked by, or, we realize that that's just, a way that they sidetrack us from, recognizing the environment that we living in, the mentality of those that are supposed to serve and protect the public, but we know they serving and protecting, just a certain few. But so family, another interesting article that I bumped into, that I just let y'all, look up. It was a study that was done this past week, or that was released this past week. I'm not for sure if it was done this past week, but the study was released this past week, and it went over a time period from 2006 to now, so that's like 11 years, excuse me. So it's from the Washington Post, and it says they looked at cases of 1,881 officers who have been fired from major police departments across the country, and found that 451 of the officers had later been reinstated. And so, family, that's kind of, to let you know um, that these officers, they are realizing that even when they commit this criminal behavior, that it's so many loopholes set up within that system that they maintain employment as a police officer in the department that they're working at the time of the offense, or onto another department. And because in that study it said that that most, not most, but a nice amount of, we can check the percentages, but the officers were allowed to be hired again due to procedural mistakes when they were fired. So the individual, the officer, whoever it is that's in control of deciding when an officer is fired, they just realize, simply, family, like, well, I just fire him bogusly, then he'll just file the paperwork, go through the process, and get reinstated. Or, like in the previous incident, the officer will just resign before he's fired, so then he can just apply and be interviewed at another department, without it even popping up on his record why he resigned, the circumstances, surrounding it. So, family, that kind of just goes into that whole little thing with the mainstream media is not really touching on, bringing to your attention, because it would validate, which it does, and we know plenty of examples throughout the history of America where, what Kaepernick is saying is his stance is solid. And I mean, so I just wanted to highlight some of those incidents, family, so y'all can, kind of look into that, discuss that, just because I know y'all gonna hear the opposite end of the argument. Kaepernick shouldn't have took a knee. He should protest in a different way. You're gonna hear all of that. But what he's protesting about is not what's being highlighted.
How do you want to do this? I say it's real simple.
This is American justice. This is American democracy. And those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail. But if you can't prove that a democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me. Democracy is hypocrisy. If democracy means freedom, why aren't our people